Let's talk about something. And honestly, I was almost avoiding this topic because I really did not want to have to discuss it, because it's going to bring up a lot of real, raw, genuine emotions based on my own personal experience. So everything that I say, understand, I've been through it too. Okay. And this is what I've learned. Let's talk about sexual coercion. Okay. Sexual coercion is any of any kind unwanted sexual activity with another person that has felt forced or tricked or manipulated into. So if a person ever has to manipulate you or trick you or kind of force you into engaging in any type of sexual activity, that is sexual coercion. This is especially very prominent to my women out there, because a lot of women have been sexually coerced by another male. I'm not going to call you a man. I'm going to call you a male. I could get disrespectful, but I'm not going to get disrespectful with you. You're a boy and you're a male. Because a man, a real man, will never, ever force a woman to do anything. And a man knows that no means no, and she only needs to say no once. But usually what happens with people that are sexual coercions, I probably said that wrong. Those are predatory type males, meaning that they do not take no for an answer. You tell them no, they continue to itch and continue to pull and push at you to get you to do something. They'll lure you into their trap around their energy and get you to do things with them or to them that you may not even want to do. And deep down in your heart and in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't want to do this. But that fight or flight kicks in. That trauma response kicks in. And you're doing something that you don't even really want to do, but you felt that this was probably the safest option. Because a lot of times women can end up losing their life because they told a man no. So they think, if this is going to save my life, let me do it. It does get that serious. And to any male right now that is thinking that I'm, whatever you're thinking right now, why don't you place yourself in our shoes for a second? Would you ever want to do something to somebody that you do not want to do? Would you want that to happen to a woman in your life that you care about? What if it was your own mother? How would you feel? What if it was your daughter? How would you feel? Your sister? How would you feel? So do not tell us anything unless you're going to support what we have been through. Okay, part 2. Let's talk about what causes us women to get into situations like this. A few different reasons. A lot of times it can be that because a woman has had a history of any type of sexual trauma or sexual assault, whenever she is in situations that feel similar to what she went through in the past, a trauma response is to just oblige. It's to just follow through. Sometimes what happens is that when she gets into that moment, because she's reliving her trauma, she freezes and she just does whatever, because she does not know how to get herself out of it. And that's not your fault. It's not your fault, baby. Okay? Because no person should ever put you in that position to begin with. You understand me? Another thing could be is that she has people-pleasing tendencies. Okay? And you can have people-pleasing tendencies in any way, shape, or form. And then once again, you get into a situation like this and you're thinking of pleasing the other person to, instead of like sacrificing your own dignity and worth to please somebody else. Because when a person is a people pleaser, they will do whatever it is because they want to keep the peace, even if that means doing something that you may not want to do. A lot of reasons for that. Other reasons, you have some deep rooted trauma wounds. Could be a wounded feminine, could be a wounded masculine. These are mother or father wounds where you felt so much emotional neglect. You feel so deprived of nurture, of compassion, of affection, where it has been such a long time since someone has just given you a hug. Give yourself a hug right now, baby, because I know this is tough. You felt, because you were not given that type of nurture and affection and attention that you've craved, that type of, physical touch is important. And because you were deprived of this, you basically settled for anything just to get that type of attention and affection. But remember that when you want that nurture, when you want that affection, do this. Give yourself a nice big hug, a huge hug, and give yourself that love. Because if you find yourself going to other people in situations that you have no business going into, all because you want to fill that void, you're going to feel even worse coming out of it than when you went going into it. And I do not want any other woman out there to ever have to deal with that type of pain. You don't want this. You don't want what it does to you here. You don't want what it does to you here. You don't. Please, no means no. And leave if you feel uncomfortable. Leave immediately.